What is up, guys? Finessery Fell-Handed here. Going forward, I will be streaming Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. My Twitch is going to be right there in front of you. It is also in the description below if you ever need to click on that, what have you. Monday through Friday, most of it's going to be World of Warships unless I get a wild hair at my butt. Really enjoying this game. Who knows, there might even be a little bit of World of Tanks in there. Now, whenever something new comes out, I may or may not play it, you know, what have you. Just make recommendations. I don't care. I'm kind of directly taking this from World of Tanks into everything. And right now, World of Warships Legends is my new World of Tanks. So, do with that what you will. Moving on. As you can see here, a little bit about the ship, first and foremost. 3 banks of 3 torpedoes. It is deliciously awesome. 10-kilometer fish, that is how long these things, as far as the distance, the range goes. They do tend to be faster than a lot of the other torpedoes and a lot of the other destroyers. Also, this destroyer does not have a lot of guns on it. The Atasuki does not have a lot of guns. However, they are doubles, and they sound amazing when they are being bucked off. So, you know, you can make the magic happen with that. I mean, granted, you know, destroyers' guns, and kind of what you have is, you know, your Americans are kind of known as gunboats. Your Japanese are kind of known as torpedo boats. Possibly the British, somewhere in the middle. But the Japanese tend to have the best stealth, meaning the highest concealment rating, you know, versus torpedo range, which is kind of what you're looking for if you're wanting to be stealthy, because if you fire your torpedoes, you're not going to be detected. If you fire your guns, you are going to be detected. So when you kind of step back and you look at it, it's a very, very good mixture. And anything you can do, guys, to get your concealment rating to be bumped up is definitely the way to go. Any kind of skills or anything. Now, granted, we're sitting in a cloud, but the bottom line is, if nobody's spotting anything for you, you're not really going to see anything. So just keep that in mind. If you're in a cloud of smoke, nothing is going to be seen. So you do kind of have to have other people on the outside. You know, just, you know, food for thought. Now, as far as the reload goes, it doesn't necessarily have a brisk reload. Granted, it is not on the super long end either. And I'm kind of getting to the point where, when I went up the American line and I got the Fletcher, I kind of like the Benson better. I don't know why I like the Benson better. And I don't know. I don't have the Kagito. I don't know anybody who does. They say it's awesome, but I don't necessarily know if it's going to be more awesome than the Atasuki. So I don't know. We'll find out. You know, but the Atasuki has my mind, but the Gremiashi has my heart. It is utterly amazing. Moving on. Anyway, I digress. I could really talk about the Gremiashi quite a bit. I do love that boat. Something horrible. Moving on. As you can see here, we have a couple of gentlemen here to 12 o'clock /1. Battleships are literally my favorite thing to target because, you know, they have that low mobility. They can't really get out of the way. They have to sit there and take it. And carriers, of course, when you get close and when they do bring them into the game, are going to be pretty easy targets to take out as long as you don't get obliterated by their planes before you get to them. So anyway, and guys, you know, when you're shooting at other destroyers, you know, a lot of times when I'm shooting at battleships, I'm like, they're, you know, 85% of my mind, that's going to connect. It's going to connect. It's going to get him. It's going to hit him. It's going to do something. At least one's going to hit him. With a destroyer, don't even put that in your head. Instead, kind of flip the numbers around. Be like, you know what? It might connect with him. There's a 15% chance. I don't have much of a shot. And you'll notice a lot of times, guys, when I'm shooting at other DDs, I kind of shoot, I fire one on target, and I shoot one the opposite end of my spectrum there. I mean, granted, you know, this one has 3 banks of 3, which is amazing. But that's something you kind of need to look at, you know, so to speak. Alright, so let's see if we can get some meat on the table. It's looking good. It's looking sexy. I'm not going to lie. The first run right there was a little wide. It's kind of looking like he's going to catch one. He caught one right there in the fanny. I don't know what happened to the other one there. You know, so not too bad. I mean, you know, we're setting at 15,800 damage. We're okay. And I don't mind, you know, sniping at him from back here. And especially if you can kind of watch where their guns are. And if he's already engaged and he's all alone in the end zone, I'm going to get up in there and I'm going to drop off a crime scene. And that's exactly what is going to happen. And it's better, you know, guys, if you can work a corner, you know what I mean? If you can post up around an island and just as they come in, you just throw fish right into them. And a lot of times, that's what you have to do. Because a lot of your tier 4, 5, even some 6s don't have decent fish. Well, no, maybe 4s and 5s. Yeah, 3, 4, 5. Your 6s, you're going to start getting some decent fish. And what I mean by decent is you know, I see a lot of destroyers have 6-click fish, and their detection range is like 5.8 or 5.9, and I'm like, what is the point of throwing fish if they're going to see you as soon as you know what I mean, if you have to get in range? I mean, granted, that's what I'm saying. That's why you work those corners, you work the edges of the island, you go up there, you post up, you make it happen. Back to the crime scene right here. We're going to go ahead and throw some fish down range. As you can see here, how I'm kind of spread them out. I'm essentially stacking them one right after the other. And that gives the gentleman a big thing, a big wave to kind of get out of. I am not as good with the fish as probably I could be. I've seen some very in-detailed videos talking about whether, you know, if they slow down, it's going to be here. If they turn right, it's going to be, you know, you're going to go long or you're going to go short or what have you. I'm not exactly at that point yet to where I can kind of calculate. But what I do like to do is, if I'm undetected, then I like to get in a position where I can throw fish, because then they don't know they're coming and they don't know to be on their toes. Now, granted, you know, most of the time when I'm in a battleship, I'm concerned. I mean, me personally, granted, and I am not a good example, but I am concerned with angling my hull and shooting people. And, you know, the fish coming towards me is just kind of a bonus. And obviously, if you were being fired upon, you would want them to, you know, catch you. You would want to be parallel with them, so to speak. So you'll only take one, or better yet, you can just completely drive through them. That's kind of that situation that you would want. Okay, so once again, we're throwing fish here. We're trying to do a decent spread, and I kind of think we have it going on. And what you're going to find, guys, in the higher tiers, I mean, granted, this is a 6, but in the tier 7, this guy he's going to get pooped on big time. I'm going to interrupt myself here. Oh my god, it's going to be awful for him. Oh, he's getting decorated. Somebody's mad. It's okay, it'll be fine. He's going to be sitting at the bottom of the channel very soon. Moving on. 62,000 damage. That's how fast that went up. I lost my train of thought, but okay, I found it. So, what I was talking about was, as far as being in the high tiers, being tier 7, as far as destroyers go, because your reload time for your fish is so long, it's like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, what have you. I have started kind of throwing one and then having the other one as a backup and kind of pacing them, you know, maybe halfway through. Say if you've got a minute and a half fish, maybe 45 seconds in, say, okay, well, I can throw another one that way. You'll always be close to a reload and not totally screwed. It's kind of helped me in the past, and that's something you really have to look at as far as, you know, when you kind of get into the knife fighty part of the game, you know, if there's 4 or 5 DDs out there, and God forbid 1 or 2 of them know what they're doing, and you get mixed up in there with them, it's a great equalizer if you have the ability in your tubes to just empty the clip into his face and just completely shut him down. And there's a couple of videos that I'm going to be posting in the next few days, weeks, months, whatever, where that exact situation has happened. So it's kind of good to have a reload in your back pocket. I mean, for example, but at the same time, you know, if you have that situational awareness and you know what's going on and you know last known positions and you know about where people's going to be, which is something, a skill that I said, you know, over and over again in World of Tanks, and now I'm kind of learning that I need to relearn that skill on a whole different game. You know, where are people going to go? Where do they gravitate towards? You know, so on and so forth. And once you know that, once you know where they're going to be and you have a good idea how they're going to operate, then you can kind of mentally prepare yourself for that, so to speak. And so it'll help your game in the long run. Okay, so let's see if these fish I threw are going to do anything. We're at 75k right now. Let's see what happens. They're looking good. It is not looking good for this gentleman right here. He is taking fish. He is not a fan of it. Boom. You are sitting at the bottom of the channel, my friend. He was not happy. 114k. We're making the magic happen. We are, you know, we're getting lucky essentially. We're not out here doing anything magical. We were just getting lucky. And I think, you know, unless you can kind of produce this every single game, it's all luck. So, you know, top of the leaderboard there, we've got 2 bad guys left. We're in hunting mode now. Granted, I think I've been in hunting mode the entire game. That's fine. We're out here to kind of look up, see if we can find these guys, catch them slipping, and fill them full of fish. They're having fish for dinner. That is the goal. But we have to be careful. Because, you know, if I come around a corner, I come around an island, they're both sitting there together, posted up, then, you know, it's going to be a wrap for little old me. But, you know, as far as the points goes, it's not too bad. But in this game, is structured a little bit different than, you know, say World of Tanks, kind of where I came from. And I did play this game on PC just a little, enough to know that I didn't care for it on PC. I'm not a fan. The winning is kind of different. You know, you have a point system, and it's just totally different from standard World of Tanks, and I think that's why I like it so much. It's made by the same company, but it's the way it's set up is totally different, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm drawn to it. And it seems like, especially making these videos, so many of these videos are 15 minutes long, right on the dot. You know, I mean, so many of these games run out, max time, nothing you can do. And I told my buddy Spartan Elite 43, I said, man, honestly, I don't know, I'm just going to have to ramble. Just, you know, talk about, you know, my day or whatever. Because I don't know what to do for 15 minutes. You know, I've had some World of Tanks games that were 4 minutes long. And I was like, oh, we're going to go over here, we're going to shoot this guy, then we're going to drive over here. But in these games, you know, it's a lot slower pace. You have a lot more time to do things. And so, yeah, I mean, I may ramble a little bit, and, you know, who knows. But, you know, in the end, I think some useful information will pass along. I have played this game quite a bit, and, you know, what I know I can transfer to you guys. Now, speaking as far as different classes goes, destroyers are mainly my thing. If you haven't guessed that, you should. Cruisers, I do okay in some of the cruisers, and battleships are just not me. I am not a fan of battleships. You know, I don't like anything slow and derpy where it is your job to get shot. And this is pretty much transferred straight from World of Tanks. You know, that was my mentality. You know, let's not get shot. Let's go in there. Let's make the magic happen. And this, not so much. This is kind of, hey, listen, you're going to take rounds, and you know, you have to, you know, do bow tanking, aft tanking, what have you. But it is what it is. You know, and I want to get good at everything. And the reason I suggest you try everything is so when you're fighting this battleship, you'll know its strengths, you'll know its weaknesses, you'll know what it can do, what it can't do. And that's kind of why, you know, long ago I started playing everything. Wow, this guy's gonna have a lot of... Oh, they're running out of gravy! Oh, God. Oh, that burns. Anyway, he's dead. Or we won. He's dead or we won. Or we lost. I can't actually remember, and I wasn't paying attention. I was in rambling mode. We won! 114,000 damage. Guys, really hope you enjoy. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and stop in by the stream and say what's up!